President's blessings required to approve new government. Controversial EPF transfers revealed at the Bond Commission. Politicians speak out on the no-confidence motion against Ravi Karunanayaka. Petition filed against money laundering and appointments of the national list. Land grab in the Hantana Hill.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And for the Newsfirst team, I'm Jyoti Gunasena. Let's start off with some local stories in detail. The primary healthcare unit in Megaswava, Polonnaru was vested in the public today by President Maithripala Sirisena.
The building was constructed at a cost of 11 million rupees, utilizing funds allocated for the North Central Province. The unit provides healthcare facilities to over 3,000 families living in and around the villages of Megaswava, Wadigawava, Nitahena, Kandrugaswava and Viharagama. Chief Minister of the North Central Province, Special Ajaratna, was also present at the occasion. The new education office at the Hinduragod Educational Zone was declared open today. The office was constructed at a cost of 45 million rupees.
My policy is not to create massive development projects. I want to resolve the burning issues that are plaguing the community both at rural and urban level. A few months after abolishing slavery, the slaves started to criticize Abraham Lincoln. They said that if they remained as slaves, they would get food to eat because they had to fend for themselves. There are some people like that in this country too. The UN Special Rapporteur who met me last week asked me why the government isn't creating awareness among the public about the work being done. I told him that it was one of our shortcomings. I saw yesterday on a national newspaper a statement by a former minister and an opposition MP. It read that the opposition needs to get 113 seats to finish off both the government and the president. He must have been standing on his head when he made the calculations. Even if they gather 113 seats, they need to come to me to form a government.
Staff transfers in the Employees Provident Fund has led to a difficult situation within the division in 2015. Now, this was revealed at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Zulfiq Fazan reports on Bondgate.
Ananda Jailath, the Assistant Governor of the Central Bank who testified today, was the Superintendent of the EPF from 2015 to 2016. He stated 2 experienced people were transferred from the department and Saman Kumara was brought into the EPF. The witness said he requested then Senior Deputy Governor P. Samarasiri not to go ahead with the transfer, but his request was denied and was said the transfer would be for a period of 3 months. However, the 2 people transferred out never returned to the EPF. Saman Kumara was transferred to the EPF on the 8th of June 2015 with a letter containing 5 pages. The witness had placed Kumara to the middle office of the department. The next day, former Governor Arjuna Mahendran rang the witness and spoke in a threatening manner for not assigning Saman Kumara to the front office, especially to fund management. This was despite being told that Kumara had a questionable role in dealing. He does not take responsibility for the placement of Saman Kumara in the front office, as it was done against his wish, and said he was aware Kumara had direct communication with Arjuna Mahendran. Ananda Jailath said thereafter, Arjuna Mahendran insisted that the EPF send him daily reports on the transactions done by the fund management unit, even if he was overseas. The witness said his request for a voice recording system in the EPF had merely been noted in a document with a mention of Rs 993,000 in a tender. He said during his time, there was no such system installation at the EPF. Commenting on an investigation report from 2016 regarding the conduct of the EPF in securities dealing, The witness said his report was given to Arjuna Mahendran and no follow-up took place regarding that until after the appointment of Indrajit Kumaraswamy as central bank governor. He could not arrive at firm conclusions in the report mainly due to the absence of voice recording, but added that transactions directly with counterparties aroused suspicion of collusion. The witness identified Saman Kumara was involved in the pre-arranged deals with perpetual treasuries which involved Pan Asia Banking Corporation. He added Saman Kumara was uncontrollable due to his excessive use of the mobile phone and links directly to former Governor Arjuna Mahendran. He testified, at times Saman Kumara exceeds the limit for a staff officer in dealing, which is 500 million rupees per day. The witness testified before the commission that if he had the power or if he had the authority, he would never have assigned Saman Kumara to the front office of the Employees Provident Fund Department at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. He went on to say that if he had tried to protest it, he would have been shifted out. President's counsel Anuja Premaratna will be appearing for Arjun Aloysius. The counsel's request to get another SIM with the same number for his client was strictly objected by the state. Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda informed the commission the delay in returning the mobile phone is solely because Aloysius refuses to provide the password to his iCloud account. Counsel for Aloysius said the Apple 7 was purchased in Singapore and the only application downloaded was WhatsApp. He added that someone attempted to log into the account from a separate computer. Justice Prasanna Jayawardena informed the counsel either his client has a memory recall this evening and provide the password to retrieve his mobile in 24 hours or continue to have a memory fault and expect the device in due course. Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda told the Commission that Aloysius either cooperate or be patient until detectives find the password through other means.
Why did President Maithripala Sirisena leave the party? Because he took a stand against corruption and said the Rajapaksas were corrupt. Now he might be forced to say that he cannot continue with this current government because this has also been corrupted. He might have to say he will form a new government. If Maithripala Sirisena was not there, the bond scam would have been covered up by now. The rogues will be free to roam. The rogues not only stole money, they are now using this money to invest in newspapers and media channels. They use these media to attack us because we speak out against them. The papers are protecting the thieves. Everyone connected to the bond scam should be thrown in jail. If a common man deposits money in a bank, he will be taxed. If he withdraws money, he will be taxed. However, the distillery of Arjuna Aloysius is not being tapped. The insane profits that they earned through the bond scam has been invested in various fields. One fine day when they decide to leave the country, they will sell off all the property they own. When the central bank bond scam was being debated, the Prime Minister chuckled and asked as to whether James Bond gave the information. He must think that we are stupid. Arjun Mahendran is Ranil's personal friend. Mahendran was handed over control of the central bank by the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was the mastermind of this operation, so he should resign. This bond scam is a culmination of his 40 years in Parliament. In order to protect the dignity of the position of Foreign Affairs Minister, he should step down from his post till investigations conclude. We know that he faced issues earlier when bringing down foreign exchange into the country. The people already know who stole from the treasury and gave to perpetual treasuries. Information coming to light in this manner is good for the general public. It's a duty of political parties to take action against individuals who have such charges leveled against them. Look at the revelations that are being made on this bond scam on a daily basis. I'm ashamed. I recently wore a suit to Parliament. Chief Bilid Andru Kumar Disanayake confronted me and told me not to wear a suit because suits are being worn by thieves. Those clad in white are also thieves, while those dressed in suits are also thieves. We do not have anything to wear now. Why doesn't the former finance minister step down? If he was a gentleman, he would step down until investigations conclude. We are ashamed when we see the information that is revealed through the Bond Commission. The finance minister was provided with an apartment for 9 months at a cost of 1.4 million. If the joint opposition or the JVP puts forward a no-confidence motion, I will raise both my hands in favour of the motion. Therefore, I clearly state that these people should be in jail. Else, it would be better if we leave the government.
Attorney at law Nagahananda Kodithuwaku filed 3 petitions with the Supreme Court today.
A petition was filed calling on court to take action against the former finance minister who was allegedly linked to charges of money laundering.
ඔබට මතක ඇති රවි කරුණානායක මහත්මයා කිව්වා Mahinda Rajapaksa
You might remember Ravi Karunanayake challenging Mahinda Rajapaksa, stating that he would file a lawsuit to claim compensation worth 2 billion for levelling allegations which he claimed he had been cleared of by the High Court. On a number of occasions, the minister made this false statement to the media. He is still an accused in a serious money laundering case. The petition filed today was against Ravi Karunanayake and the Attorney General because the High Court ruling clearly states that a fresh case could be filed after amending the indictments. However, the Attorney General has neglected his duties. I have filed a complaint in this regard with the Bribery Commission as well. The petition calls on court to instruct the Attorney General to file a fresh case against Ravi Karunanayake in line with the previous High Court ruling.
රවි කරුණානායක මහතාට එරෙහිව මේ විදේශ විනිමය වංචාව සම්බන්ධ නඩුව නැවත පනවල හිටන් ඔහුට නීතිමය පියවර ගන්න.
Today, Minister Kabir Hashim remarked that if there are shortcomings regarding the efficiency of the CEO of the Information and Communication Technology Agency, Muhundan Kanege, then the subject minister has the power to remove him. Hashim made this statement in response to persistent questions from journalists regarding the ICTA CEO's involvement in several failed projects.
Muhundan Kanege, the CEO of the Information and Communication Technology Agency. The Google Loon project, touted by Kanege as a project that would provide low-cost internet access for the entire country, is still a pipe dream. This project has failed because the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission refused to provide the 700 MHz bandwidth requested to carry out testing for the project, citing regulations by the International Telecommunication Union. Recent investigations undertaken by Newsfirst revealed that a company known as Rama had attempted to secure the bandwidth under the guise of implementing the Google Loon project. In the face of the continuous refusals to provide the bandwidth requested, Muhundan Kanege had stated in a weekend newspaper that talks are underway with the International Telecommunication Union regarding this matter. He claims that as the bandwidth is to be used for tests by a state institution, it is not necessary to call for tenders. However, Newsfirst exposed in the recent past that the true business motivation driving the Rama company was securing bandwidth licenses. Responding to inquiries from Newsfirst, the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission noted that the 700 MHz bandwidth would not be provided. The TRC added that while there are other bandwidths which can be allocated for upper atmosphere transmissions like the Google Loon project, the TRC has the power to make these bandwidths available.
I'm a little skeptical whether this kind of issue can be resolved short of a World Administrative Radio Conference, because you must understand that frequencies don't respect national borders. So they jump across, so you have to have coordination so that there is no interference. And then on the other hand, the people who manufacture equipment need to know what the rules of the game are. So they manufacture equipment according to certain standards. That is why we have this thing called allocations. So we say certain bands are for mobile telephony, certain bands are for communicating with airplanes, certain other bands are for communicating with satellites, and so on. So the issue is that this particular band has not been approved by the World Administrative Radio Conference, which is one where all the countries send delegations and they finally resolve these issues. So whether that decision that this was not intended for frequencies that go up, if you think about it, they have been allocated for mobile communication. That means they have to go parallel to the earth. So that I'm not sure whether just talking to officials in Geneva can solve the problem. Part of, let's say, some part of the Google, overall Google companies has been doing this, and there I didn't see a third party in New Zealand. So it is possible that some third party came in and made the introductions because of, their affection for our country or their historical relationships with our country. But I really don't see a long-term role, because in relation to the contribution they make and the risks that they take, the capital they invest, etc., they must be rewarded. I agree with that. But then my question is, if I can't see what particular functions they are performing, I can't see why they should be rewarded. I don't see a role for them. 700 band is currently occupied by terrestrial broadcasting. So when the terrestrial broadcasters move over, and in my opinion they should move over as quickly as possible to digital broadcasting, then this valuable real estate, metaphorically, will be released. And that should be assigned through auctions to the appropriate number of players as government policy determines. We are talking billions of rupees. We are talking very large amounts of money that the government will, that General Treasury will collect from this.
The government is aiding him in carrying out his activities. We can see now that this individual is scheming with the strength of the government behind him. We have also come to know that he has the support of Minister Ravi Karunanayake. He would not be able to act in this way without such support. This is very dangerous. We need to have a security system in place to handle secret information. They are attempting to dismantle this and we categorically condemn it. We call on the people to not allow this to happen.
I believe this power has been given to the subject minister, and if there is any shortcoming regarding the officials' efficiency, then the subject minister has the power to remove them.
Welcome back to the news. Many areas in the Anuradhapura district are facing a severe drought. Residents complain that there is no proper irrigation system in place to store water.
We do not have a way of conveying our difficulties. Politicians visit us only when an election is nearby, but ultimately we have no one to turn to.
These are the difficulties faced by the residents of several villages in the Anuradhapura district. The residents are also suffering from a shortage of drinking water due to the main catchment areas being parched.
You identified our difficulties and visited us. Not a single official even steps foot in this area. We are suffering a lot.
This is the fate of many residents whose main source of income is agriculture. Currently, many small tanks in the Anuradhapura district have dried up. Water is being supplied to residents through bowsers by the Oyamaduwa Divisional Secretariat.
General Secretary of the UNP, Kabir Hashim, addressing a media briefing at the UNP headquarters, Sirikota, commented on the strike action launched by CPC workers recently.
When the Hambantota report deal was being signed, the CPC unions launched a trade union action. This is astonishing because the oil tanks at the port complex do not come under the purview of the CPC. They should have launched this trade union action 4 years ago because fuel worth 3 billion rupees was stored in these tanks during that period. Up to date, not a drop of this fuel has been used. This stock has been completely destroyed. Why didn't these trade unions speak about this? Over 17,000 metric tons of oil was imported by the CPC in 2014. However, the shipment was turned back as it did not meet the required standards. The then government decided to purchase the shipment through the Sri Lanka Ports Authority and store the oil at the fuel tanks of the Hambantota port. This was extensively reported on the Sunday Leader in 2015. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa acted as the Minister of Ports and Highways during the 2013-2014 period, while Andhra Priyadarshini Yapa served as the Minister of Petroleum during the same period.
Chief Government Whip Minister Gayantha Karunathilake presented a report to Parliament today on the events of July 1983, also known as Black July, which saw much loss of life and vandalism of property and forever changed the course of our nation. However challenging even the lowest estimates thus far of the number of deaths caused by the pogrom, the report claims that only 7 Tamils were killed in the rioting during Black July.
On the 29th of July, opposition MP Uday Gamampila raised a question on how many Tamils lost their lives during the riots of July 1983. The Chief Government Whip presented the report to Parliament today on behalf of Law and Order Minister Sagala Ratnayaka. The report reads that only 7 Tamils lost their lives during the Black July riots and that no injuries were recorded.
All accepted sources note that thousands of people were killed during the racial riots at the time. No one can estimate the exact amount, but the accepted estimate is that thousands were killed. Following the strike of 1980, 75,000 people lost their jobs. This is the legacy of his 40-year career. At that time, he was just a novice. He's all grown up now. Having studied all of this as a novice, now as a grown-up, he is preparing to further that criminal program once again.
Thousands of people were killed. Damages were estimated in the hundreds of millions. Money was set on fire. Shops, cars and buses were set on fire. So many lives were lost in 1983. Now, after all that has happened, they are answering in the present that only 7 people were killed. This is the world's best comedy. How many homes were set on fire with families still inside? I am sad that such a statement has been made, seemingly unaware of what happened. The Parliament of Sri Lanka has become a place which can no longer maintain law and order. This is not done. He must resign.
Welcome back to the news. The final rites of Senarath Kapukotua, Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organization and former General Secretary of the United National Party, were performed today at the Borala Cemetery.
Born on the 2nd of January 1955 in Udispatwa, Teldenia, Senarath Kapukotua was a product of the Udispatwa Mahavidyalaya and Royal College, Colombo. The final religious ceremonies were performed today at the residence of Senarath Kapukotua in Navala. Thereafter, the cortege arrived at the Borala Cemetery. Minister Gamini Jayavikrama Perera read out the President's message of condolence, while Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva read out the Prime Minister's message of condolence.
And Senarath actually suffered at party headquarters every day, listening to the grumbles of the people about the party that was not delivering jobs. Everything else, yes, but not the jobs. But he was patient. He went through it. He did wonders for the party. He had the same love for his friends. He led a good life. We will all miss him.
In our local news, the foundation stone was laid today to construct a bridge in the Suryavava area in Hambantota under the auspices of Minister Sajith Premadasa.
The new bridge, which will be built at a cost of 23.9 million rupees, will connect the Meegha Jadura and Ihala Kumbukwava area in Suryavava.
Basil Rajapaksa Mahatmya.
Basil Rajapaksa has become a lion suddenly, and he is saying that he will create a new government. He also says that he will reclaim the Hambantota port when he comes into power. He is the same person who stole Samurdhi funds to print auspicious timetables. He is the same person who used massive amounts of Samurdhi funds to hold election meetings. When he fled to America, we had a fear that Mahinda Rajapaksa would come to the fore once again with a renewed strength. However, as a government, we are happy because Basil Rajapaksa has returned from America to finish off Mahinda Rajapaksa once again. So we have no political challenge. We convey our heartfelt gratitude to Basil Rajapaksa, and we hope that he will be able to continue his activities with the joint opposition. Then the people will remember how he misused the money of the innocent Samurdhi beneficiaries. The 18th Neelan Tiruchelvam Memorial Lecture was conducted by Professor A.L. Wiseman in Colombo last evening.
Born in 1944, Neelan Tiruchelvam was educated at the University of Colombo Law School and Harvard Law School. Having served in Sri Lanka's parliament from 1994 to 1999 as an MP of the Tamil United Liberation Front, he played a leading role in Sri Lanka's parliament in many initiatives that included constitutional and legal reform. Dr. Tiruchelvam was assassinated on the 29th of July 1999.
I am slowly learning the complex politics of this island, the history, the diversity of cultures and political groups that form the extremely dense and delicate balance that is sometimes holding, sometimes less so in here. I understood a certain escalation of a conflict, a long conflict that was taking place here. Gaza was attacked, but there were two simultaneous conflicts. Were they related? Were they talking to each other? Each conflict is, of course, rooted in its own history. Its own contingencies led to its eruption and escalation. But did they share a language?
Attorney-at-Law Jayanthi Vinodhan was inducted as the president of the Midtown Inner Wheel Club. She was a former legal personnel in the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited.
The Inner Wheel Club of Colombo, Midtown, had its installation ceremony of their 40th president, Jayanthi Vinodhan, Attorney-at-Law, for the year 2017-2016. The Inner Wheel Club of Colombo Midtown, headed by its president, Jayanthi Vinodhan, and the club members will be involved in many projects involving affected women, children, and giving importance to education and medical needs. International Inner Wheel is one of the largest women's service voluntary organizations in the world and are active in more than 103 countries.
I think it is a prestigious position to hold this presidency. We have many ongoing projects, and this year's theme is leaving a legacy. We hope to leave behind a legacy and remembrance by going towards war-affected areas, helping the war widows and abused girl child, as well as going towards the south and doing whatever we can for children's education.
A major disaster was averted yesterday on Sri Lankan Airlines flight UL 166 due to the immediate action of alert cabin crew members.
The incident was reported yesterday when the flight was en route to Colombo from Kochi, India. It is believed to have been caused by the ignition of a lithium battery pack or mobile phone, despite Sri Lankan Airlines having already banned phones such as the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. The crew had noticed smoke from one of the hand luggages and had swiftly taken action. Rapidly arming themselves with fire extinguishers, the crew opened the overhead luggage bin. Upon finding a bag emitting smoke, they carried it quickly away from the passengers to the aft galley, where they sprayed it with an extinguisher. Immediately suspecting a lithium fire, they adopted the lithium fire extinguishing procedure by immersing the bag in a container of water. The situation was successfully contained and the bag ceased to emit smoke. Upon investigation, the crew found a lithium battery pack and 2 mobile phones in the bag. Sri Lankan Airlines has launched an investigation into the incident and informed the relevant authorities in Sri Lanka.
Before we leave you tonight, just a reminder that Face the Nation begins shortly on TV1, where we will be discussing the business sense of the Hambantota Port deal.
Our panel tonight includes the chairman of the Ports Authority as well as the CEO of the Shippers Academy and Professor Rohan Samarajiva.
Face the Nation, asking the questions you want answered.
For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jitendra Kunasena.
And I'm Shrin Silva. Take care and good night.